Hey guys, Matt here. I just wanted to show you guys how to make grape wine using juice from concentrate. You can get it frozen in the little containers as well in the freezer section, or you can just get this. It's reconstituted concentrate, if you will. So I'm just kind of getting things started here. I emptied about half of one of those jugs I just showed you, which is 64 ounces. So about half that is about 32 ounces, which is about 1 liter approximately. I put it in this empty pot and I added 1 cup for each liter. So 1, 2, 3, 4 cups of sugar. And I'm just heating it up to dissolve it because I'm not using the more expensive corn sugar. That's the only real reason. It dissolves it better when it's warmed up. And also it'll get the other juice, the other bottle that I didn't open, it'll get it a little bit warmed up quicker, you know, help the yeast along with the process a little bit quicker. I don't think it would make a huge difference, but you know, might as well. So as soon as I get this dissolved, I'll kind of go over the rest of things with you. I'm gonna let that sit for just a minute and get warm. But a couple things you'll need, I'll show you here, is you will need 64 ounces, 2 of these of juice, or you can do it from the concentrate if you'd like to do that. Like I said, the ones in the frozen section. You'll need a measuring device to put your hydrometer in. You'll need a 1 gallon jug, more if you want to increase this to like 5 gallons. Something to mix it in, a funnel, a stirring spoon, yeast. You can use bread yeast or you can use winemaking yeast, up to you. And then you want to add some yeast energizer to it. It has directions on it, just follow the directions. And that's about it. I do use, for this, Star Sanitizer to sanitize, if I can speak today, everything beforehand, because you don't want it ruining your batch. So I'm going to turn this heat off. I think it's pretty well heated up. Give you a little peek here, and yeah, it's totally melted. All right, so let me get this set up and I'll be back with you. So the next thing we're gonna do is we are going to find your thermometer. Is we're gonna put the yeast in warm water solution to get it started. Cut this open, we'll add just a little bit of warm water. Goal for this yeast, it says, is, where's that? 95 to 100 degrees. So I'm gonna fill up just a little bit of water and measure it. So the easiest way really to do it is stick your electronic thermometer underneath the faucet, adjust the hot and cold until you get to your temperature range. Then you put it in your beaker or your mixing container. So easy peasy. So now that we're done with that, I'm going to stir my grape juice on the stove again, just make sure everything is dissolved. It looks really good though. So I'm going to go ahead and add this yeast into our beaker here. And this grape wine is super easy to make. I have another batch of cranberry wine that was my first batch I actually started. I didn't film it because I wasn't sure if it was going to work out well, but it's going great. So the next batch I do with a 5 gallon, I will start you out with and bring you along. So this beaker works great. It's easy to mix and easy to pour. So I'm just going to let that sit in there for a couple minutes while we get everything else together. I'm going to go ahead and get my jug here. Oops, I make sure actually that I am still in camera. I am. I'm gonna scoot it up just a hair though. Okay. So we'll go ahead and get the rest of our grape juice in the jug. Move this over here. And I already already wiped this down, but I'm gonna wipe it down again, as well as my hands, just for good measure, because the pot and the stove and the spatula, you know, weren't sanitized to the same degree that all these other instruments were. So just to be rather safe than sorry, just the outside of this as well. And then I'm gonna dry my hands off. I'd rather be a little bit overcautious than to ruin a batch of it. All right, so, and that's a clean, just washed towel that I laid everything out on to dry. So we'll go ahead and start putting our juice in. You can just pour it in if you want, but the funnel makes it a lot easier. One, also known as Uno. Let's get the second one, also known as Dos. Whoa, flip it. There we go. All right. It's foaming up a little bit, but we're putting a lot of air in there, which is totally fine, especially at the beginning, because the yeast do need air to start working. So at the beginning, air in your wine isn't a problem at all. It's beneficial, actually. So I'm going to actually measure the temperature of the grape juice on the stove, just to make sure it's not too crazy hot. That way it doesn't burn up our yeast. And it's about 142 degrees. So it's a little bit warm yet, but our grape juice was at room temperature, so it should even out well. Okay, so I had to pour out about a cup and a half of the grape juice because I don't want to be too full when it starts fermenting and after I add the yeast. Otherwise it'll bubble out the top or cause other problems. So we'll go ahead and add the yeast in. And give that a little stir. And yeast are in. All right. I'm going to wipe the top off of this and then spray it from the side with Star San, so it'll sanitize the outside. I'm going to use a clean towel again to wipe out or wipe off anything near the rim. We'll toss that, toss that. We have a cap in here. I can't remember if I sanitized it or not, so I'm just going to go ahead and sanitize it. This is a solid cap. And I'm going to put it on here and mix this up a little bit. And that cap apparently leaks. So make sure not to get it everywhere if it leaks. All right. So I'm just gonna set this right on top of a paper towel. So here's hoping I don't spill it everywhere. And success. I got a couple drops, but it landed right on the paper towels, which is why I put them there. So let's put our hydrometer in. Well, let's pour just a little bit of this back off. I had it too full. Let's see how we're doing this time. Okay, so we're good there. And I have it probably 2/3 of the way up. So just for your all reference. Like I said, this is my second batch of wine, so I'm learning along with you, hopefully. So if you have any other tips, let me know. So this is coming up in the dessert wine range. It's at potential, let's see, 10, 11, 12, 13, potential 15 to 16% alcohol. And it is at 1.120. Let me write that down before I get it. 1.120. And you always want to get a measurement at the beginning and then get a measurement at the end. If you have any problems, a wine store, or some of these home brewers can help you pretty easily with it if you have those measurements. So they're really important to have. So we're going to pour this back out. We're going to put it back in our glass jug because we're not wasting wine. Or if we do, as little as possible. And we're gonna sanitize the neck of this one more time because I spilled a little bit of grape juice, as you remember, at the beginning. And that'll get rid of the stickiness. I'll also make sure it's sanitary, which is almost more important than the stickiness. Actually, it is. So we have a couple caps here. These I did sterilize beforehand. And we'll put our bubbler on top. Put this on top. And then we will fill it with a little bit of water. And I'm gonna add water back up until the fill line. There's a little fill line about halfway up on this bubbler. And I'll just fill it right up until there. And we're set. We'll put the lid on the bubbler, which I also did sterilize. And we are set. Okay, so I know you guys are gonna say, I forgot the yeast energizer that I said I was gonna put in there, right? Well, you're right, I did. So I am going to add that in now. And so this is it, yeast energizer. And it says directions, add 1/2 teaspoon per gallon. So we're gonna add 1/2 teaspoon because this is approximately 1 gallon. And we'll drop that right in there. And our lid is already sanitized, we know, from cleaning it for washing it up. And we know that lid leaks, so we're gonna put a paper towel over it this time. And we'll give this a little mix. All right, guys, now we are done. So I'm gonna bring you over here, and I'm gonna give you a little tour while I'm at it. I'll show you the final gallon jug there with grape juice. I'm gonna stick one of these thermometers on it. It's just a peel and stick thermometer. That way I can monitor the temperature and I don't have to open it. Because the glass is really conductive for temperature, I'll be able to monitor it the whole time. So as a just bonus here, I'm gonna show you my cranberry wine I got going. I'm not gonna open it, but I'm just gonna show you here. Got 5-gallon bucket. This is another one, the spare one that I had. But I got bubbler on it. It's been going, let's see, Started on 3/7 of 2020 and is now 3/13 of 2020. So the bubbling has definitely slowed down, but it's still going. You know, it's going fairly steadily. The first day I didn't have a whole lot of bubbling. I had this sealed, I had the bubbler on, and I really didn't have any bubbling. I read a lot of posts about it needs oxygen at the beginning, so I cracked the side of this bucket, you know, from maybe here to here, put a clean towel over it to prevent any contaminants. I only had open maybe that much, you know, but it took off quick after that. So if you're having problems with your yeast not starting to ferment right away, that may be an issue. You know, there's a lot of other causes I know, but that might be an issue. That's what it was for mine. So, but everything looks good inside. It smells good. You can smell it coming out the top. It smells like wine, so it is going good. So I'll try and keep you updated, and I'll do a video on bottling and that type of stuff as this one's done. I'll probably transfer it into this glass carboy whenever it stops bubbling. Rack it and get the sediment out, let it sit, add potassium sorbate, potassium metabisulfite, let it sit maybe a week, and then rack it back and then bottle it. The only reason to rack it back is to get the sediment out of the bottom. So we'll see how it goes. All right, guys, as always, please like, share, and subscribe. If you have any questions, let me know. Also, if you have any suggestions, let me know. All right, guys, thank you. Have a good day. Okay, so I sat over here on the table next to my other one. This 5-gallon bucket doesn't let light in because it's solid. This glass one will. So I've heard that it affects, you know, the outcome of the wine. You know, so it's best to keep it in a dark place. So because the basement is super cold, it's room temperature up here on this floor, I put it in this towel. I just wrapped it. It's a big towel, I guess a beach towel. So I fold it over and then fold it over again, wrapped it around it, and just put 2 clamps on it. So it'll help insulate it a little bit, although that's not really needed. Biggest thing is it'll keep the light out. So we'll see how it goes.